There's a lot of things they don't want you to rise up to, and if you try, they'll find a way to knock you down. I know it's happened time and time again.
Has it happened to you, Leonard?
Oh yeah, once all this stuff started coming out, and then we could look back and talk about certain situations that took place, knowing that if it would have changed or we'd have done something differently, we could have come out much better, much further ahead. But there was always blocks there to prevent it.
Well, that is certainly something I've noticed with everyone I've interviewed, is they're all struggling to some degree financially.
Yeah.
You know,
now, I'm not saying we're poor or anything like that. I don't mean it in that sense.
You're just not as well as what you think you could have been.
Definitely.
Right.
They won't allow it.
Why is it? Do you think that by having wealth that gives you credibility, and with credibility more people would believe your story?
I don't think that has a thing to do with it, because there's been a lot of credible people that's come forward and they just bashed them. Doctors, lawyers, you name it, all over the place. Congressmen, senators, everything, and that has nothing to do with it.
Then why don't they want you well off financially?
I've never really been able to answer that, but it seems like every one of the super warriors they did that to. Why? Who knows? Maybe they feel they could control us better. I don't know.
Now, do you know people that say we would know who are super warriors?
Within this particular circle, yeah. There has to be an individual somewhere within each circle that dealt with well, yeah, wherever they were involved directly. If they was brought information or whatever, yeah, those people would know. They wouldn't know us by name or anything else.
Well, I'm talking about, like Bill Clinton or, a popular name.
Would they know us?
No. Would you know them? For instance, are there people out there?
If I ever met them.
Oh, you could tell if you were with them?
Yeah.
They have a certain sense
because
about it?
I do remember a lot of people, names, and I'm constantly watching to see if I recognize somebody.
Right. But would you say it's out of the question, say, for them to insert their own president of the United States?
Well, let me say this. I don't know about past presidents, but I know Bill Clinton has had many clones.
Mm-hmm. You know that for a fact?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Because of his involvement in things. They've had to put clones in to protect him.
What? Otherwise, someone would take him out, or?
Yeah, there have been many instances of where he's been tried to be taken out, but they've kept it hush hush.
Mm-hmm.
Privately.
So they set up these clones to distract
in case someone would succeed.
Ah, so if they did, then
since it was done privately, I mean, he could emerge the next day, fit and fair and everything else, and what's that individual going to say?
Wow.
See what I'm getting at?
Again, that's hard to believe, but again, when I was talking with Larry, he said, Mike, he said, everything is a frequency.
Sure.
He said, I can read all your frequencies, put it in a computer, and create an exact clone of you.
Yeah. It takes about 6 hours to create a clone. From beginning to actual human being.
Well, do these clones have a soul?
I can't answer that.
I mean,
I do not know.
Have you ever met a clone?
There's times I think I have, but there's no way to prove it, because you really, I think a wife would be the only one that could ever tell them apart, and then they wouldn't until, like my wife did, many years later realized.
Well, Larry said that they have all the memories.
It's yeah, fingerprints same,
right?
Memories the same, actions the same, everything. It's a clone, just like the lamb or the sheep. It's an exact duplicate, right down to everything.
With a few exceptions sometimes.
Which it would be so minute you could never tell.
Wow. Wow. Well, let's move to, say, some other projects, some other things that you worked on in this alternative life that you led. You did the Civil War thing. I guess what your part was successful.
My part and the others that was sent.
The others were sent. Now,
I had no knowledge that others were sent, but there's no way one individual could have done it all anyway. I knew that.
I wouldn't think so. Now, we've also heard about re-engineering World War II, also re-engineering that went down during the Roman eras. Were you involved in any of that?
Not to my knowledge.
Just the Civil War.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was sent back in time out west, 1800s, probably late 1800s, to a land baron. He owned thousands of acres of land, and this man needed to be taken out so the land would fall into the right hands that they wanted it to. So I become a cowboy, and I got to be real close with him.
Yeah.
And was out on a range one day, and I felt that this was the time to eliminate him. And I pulled out the Spazor, Spazor. It's just a small handheld item. And once you aim it and activate it, the human body just crumbles into nothing, just disappears.
Sounds like a phaser.
Yeah, I call it a Spazor. I don't know why. And so I said, okay, it's time to get this over with. I've been here long enough. So I zapped him. And any time you're involved in a killing, you do it as privately and as quickly and as non-messy as you can, or turn it into an accident. But you never do it when anyone else is around. That's the given. Well, after zapping this guy...
Does that create a paradox?
I guess. I don't know. But, well, the thing is, if you do it when others are around, then you've got to eliminate them. And then you change even more of history.
See, that's what I'm pondering here. What if you took them out because they thought that the land needed to go to someone else,
which they knew it did because of what took place in the future and whose hands it fell into, and they didn't, and they decided they wanted it in someone else's hands to do something else with it and make better money out of it.
But money
is one thing that's always at the bottom of it's the root of all of it.
Follow the money. But what if it turned out to be the wrong decision, that they actually made less money as a result of that?
Well, that was never the case because they analyzed it right down to the most minute detail and knew who back then it would be set up to get it into the hands of, to make sure that in the future it was taken care of properly the way they wanted it. So nothing was left to chance.
Wow. So they were able to model all that type of human behavior?
Oh, yeah. Everything.
That is mind-boggling.
Yeah. So anyway, I zapped this guy, and I'm just kind of sitting there on the horse snickering to myself as he just disappears and breaks up in little bitty particles and floats away. And I happen to look up, and here's this other cowboy on a horse just a short distance away. And I'm thinking, oh, damn, now I got to take him out too.
Yeah.
I said, wait a minute. Who the hell's going to believe him?
Nobody.
Think about it.
Oh, did he see it?
Yeah, he witnessed it. He was scared to death. He was petrified.
I imagine.
And I knew I was supposed to take him out. And I said, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to let that sucker live his life and try and figure out how he's going to tell somebody what he saw. You know, I got a good laugh out of it. And so I just left him.
Yeah.
And then they pulled me out, and that was the end of it. But this vast, I do not know where out west it was, or even this land baron's name. That has never come to me either.
Yeah, it's interesting. It seems like as we talk, memories come up, because you said earlier that the only time you time traveled was the Civil War thing. And now...
No, I don't recall saying that was the only time.
Okay.
Or if I did, I was wrong. I did not mean to.
Okay, so there were many times then that...
At least these two times that I went back in time.
That you recall.
Most of the rest of the time was I even went to the future. But I think the bulk of it was to outer space for whatever we did out there, and plus going to different secret installations to do different things. They used the warriors for many different roles. because we were so versatile.
Now, one of the common questions is, when you go to the future, do you go to a probable future or a definite future?
Definite.